Alright, what up guys? So I've been looking through my old reviews and I came across one of my more riskier review, more honest and brutal review. So this is for The Graduate. I watched this movie back in 2015-16 and wrote a review straight after watching it. And look, to be fair, I didn't like the movie. I watched the movie and I enjoyed it when I was watching it, but as a movie, to break it down, I wasn't a fan. So here it is, a fake classic that doesn't make sense. Being a huge movie buff, I'm usually very kind to all films, but I have to point out the fact that this film doesn't make any sense or have any serious character development. So, let's go into it. The story is extremely fast and inconsistent. We first meet Ben, who was shown to be as a shy and an introvert. Ben is played by Dustin Hoffman. He just graduated and is a bright student in a brilliant future. At his celebration party, Mrs. Robinson, a family friend, asks Ben to take her home. There she tries to seduce this extremely shy, introverted virgin. She doesn't succeed, but plans the idea and Ben falls for it. They begin to have an affair. Meanwhile, Mr. Robinson is trying to set up Ben with his daughter, who doesn't have any friends and also is seen a bit of a loner. But Ben has no interest in her. Then his parents get involved and he decides to amuse his parents and not get in an uncomfortable situation with his mistress, and his parents goes out with the daughter. At the same time, Mrs. Robinson states very clearly that she doesn't want him to date her, but pushes to more of a reason than just not sharing her young meat with her daughter. After putting Elaine, the daughter, through the worst date he could, he apologizes and falls for her in a matter of seconds, and she does for him. Then the whole story falls apart. Ben goes from an introvert to an extrovert. Elaine goes from a shy, innocent, pure-like girl to a socially confident woman who has friends and a boyfriend. Ben, after losing Elaine to the truth, decides his only choice is to marry her. Elaine, who had one date with Ben and falls in love with him, doesn't tell him about her other boyfriend who proposed to her. When Elaine's parents find out about Ben's plan to marry her, they decide to marry her off to her boyfriend the next day. Question implies, there's a lot of questions to be fair, why did Elaine fall for the jerk, a guy who was having an affair with a married woman, and later a guy who was accused of raping her own mother? But a bigger question is, why did she agree to getting married to the other guy and going through with it if she loved Ben, and why did it all happen within a weekend? This film might be a classic due to its acting. Dustin Hoffman was brilliant as a 21-year-old shy graduate student, and more importantly, Anna Bancroft was simply amazing as a much older mother. She was only actually 6 years older than Hoffman. But the story lacked gravity and emotion. It lacked logic and timing. So this was just a fake classic that people love, the idea of being forgiven and the idea that true love conquers all. Now this is when I wrote the review back in 2015. Thinking back on the review and having glimpses again of the film The Graduate, I can kind of maybe answer my own questions in some of these things. Obviously, when he hurts Elaine from the date and sees her emotionally breaking down and he feels sorry for her and apologizes. In that instance, you can kind of say it was like love at first sight, but that can't be it, because if it's love at first sight, then it should have been when he just saw her, as it says, love at first sight. So that doesn't work. But okay, let's just say that he does fall in love with her. Then there is no reason for Elaine to fall in love with him then and there, because he was a jerk. She doesn't know him as a shy, let's just say introverted guy that he is, like we said, the nice guy that he is, because she would only know him as the jerk that just had the first date with her. Also, later on, when the whole story comes down and he tells her that he's having an affair with a married woman, and later on her mother accuses him of raping her, there should be a question: why is she still in love with him? Or in the first place, what made him perceive to her that he wasn't a jerk, or that he wasn't just because literally all the signs point that Ben was a guy that likes to sleep around with older married women, who doesn't care for marriage, so why would you want to get married to him in the first place? And who has no respect for women, because he allegedly raped her mother. Um, so yes, this film doesn't make a lot of sense. I guess like you can say that both were in the heat of the moment, and like when you're in love with somebody, all logic goes out the way. But saying that, then where did this other boyfriend came to? Like, was this like, because they didn't really mention the boyfriend at the beginning of the film, and if they did, they would have like, or if he was there, they should have mentioned him. Maybe watch some kind of, I don't know, not a director's cut, like some kind of theatrical cut, which got cut the lines where Elaine mentions that she maybe had a boyfriend or knew a guy, but all the characters change extremely fast. They make decisions which are illogical. The whole timing and the whole place of the whole film is set very quickly, and because of that, this movie can't be that great. It's illogical, and yeah, it lacks any gravity and emotion because it's set so quickly. You haven't got time to process anything that's happened. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you guys agree with me. If you don't, leave me a comment saying why you don't agree with me, and we can debate it there.